Activated gluten-free Danish crackers. Welcome to Believe It's Not Gluten, the home of amazing recipes for the gluten intolerant. Amazing because they taste so good no one will know they're gluten-free. These are just a twist on the quick Danish crackers we did a couple of weeks ago, and they're activated because the seeds are soaked in water overnight before they're cooked. This makes the nutrients in the seeds available for our bodies. So you do need to just plan a bit and soak the seeds in water for at least 8 hours before you make the crackers. It's very easy though. Just half a cup of sunflower seeds in a large bowl, half a cup of pumpkin seeds, and 1 cup or 2 half cups of sesame seeds. Then 3/4 of a cup of water. Give them a stir to make sure they're all wet. Don't add the chia seeds here as they swell up and soak up all the water. So it's just the sesame, pumpkin and sunflower seeds. Then cover them overnight or at least for 8 hours. The next morning you'll see the seeds have absorbed the water. So then add half a cup of chia seeds and then the flour mix. The recipe's on the blog, and you definitely want to keep making these, so keep some packs of the dry ingredient mix in your pantry ready to go. Give that a good mix, and then 100 grams or half a cup of melted coconut oil and a small half cup of room temperature water. Mix that into your dough so you can see the mixture's still pretty wet. You wouldn't want it any wetter than that, but if you thought it was a bit dry, add a little more water. And that's all there is to the dough. So then just put about 1/4 of the dough onto a piece of baking paper and squash it out into a rectangular sort of shape. Cover it with another piece of baking paper and then roll it out, or probably squashing it more at this stage because the dough's pretty wet. As it sits, it thickens up a bit as the chia seeds and xanthan gums soak up some of the moisture, but it's very easy to roll out when it's fresh and wet like this. So, unless you want to cut your crackers into shapes with a cookie cutter, you want to get it into a rectangular shape that will fit on your baking tray. So just work around, pull bits off and move them to other places, or push them around and straighten the edges a bit, and then give it another roll. You don't have to worry about how thick you roll these out. If you just keep rolling until you can't roll anymore because the thickness of the pumpkin seeds is stopping you, that gets a nice thin cracker. And you don't have to be careful at all with this dough. You can press hard with the rolling pin and not damage it. Fiddle around with it as much as you like. It is good to roll from the middle of the dough out to the edges too, to make sure your middle isn't thicker than the edges. So straighten up any edges you want to, then slide it onto a baking tray. Trim up the edges, and the leftovers just go back into the bowl. And then cut it into whatever shapes you like. It's easiest to just cut rectangles or squares. You could do triangles or anything you want. Then just set that tray aside and roll out the next lot of your dough and keep going till it's done. You can also use a cookie cutter to make shapes if you like, as long as the cutter's quite sharp. It's time consuming though to pull off all the leftover bits. Because the dough's so wet, it's quite time consuming to dig out all those leftover bits. You can also do smaller squares, or as I said, triangles, or anything else you like. Once they're done, they go into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're looking lightly browned. Then bring them out and separate them, turn them over, turn them over first, then you find they're easier to separate. Put them back into the oven for about 10 minutes just to make sure they're fully dry and cooked and crisp. Don't be tempted to overcook them though, they're not as nice if they're overcooked. Then you can leave them on the trays to cool or put them in a rack if you prefer. There they are, activated Danish crackers with the best nutrition you can get from the seeds. Hope you enjoy them. Please visit the blog for the full recipe and more information on the activation process. If you like this, please subscribe to our channel below and give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and believe it, it's not gluten.